Bloober Team has maintained a steady output of psychological horror games over the last several years, but The Medium is their most ambitious yet. As one of the first big Series X exclusives, the stakes have never been higher for the Polish developer.
I used to think I'd never fit in. But Jack, he didn't mind my weirdness. He kept telling me I was special.
Set in Krakow, Poland in the late 1990s, the plot follows Mary Ann as she returns home to bury a loved one. As a medium, her psychic abilities allow her to visit and communicate with the spirit world, but recently, she's been haunted by visions of the murder of an unknown child. After receiving a mysterious phone call from a man claiming to have answers, she sets out to meet him at the nearby Niwa Hotel. The narrative deals with very difficult subject matter. Murder, suicide, and abuse are primary themes that play out deliberately as you're slowly drip-fed more clues. Optional collectibles like documents and postcards reveal insight into the supporting cast, while Mary Ann's internal monologue meaningfully highlights her struggles.
Even the objects here had auras. When I touched them, I could sense their stories. Words, images, feelings left behind.
The voice acting is excellent across the board and conveys each character's rage, curiosity, and grief as they come to terms with their trauma. If you can stomach the challenging themes, the revelations that start to fall into place are profound and affecting. As a powerful medium, Mary Ann periodically and unexplainably gets pulled into the spirit realm. Her body still exists in the real world when this happens, forcing you to advance in both realities simultaneously. If the real world has an impediment, you can take a temporary deep dive into the spirit world to explore untethered. Navigating each environment harkens back to older survival horror games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, procuring items like bolt cutters to advance further through the hotel. Fixed cameras allow Bloober to better frame the atmosphere of each scene, but moving through areas like this just doesn't feel good. Even for veterans of the genre, walking feels heavy and stiff, while running feels painfully slow. It's also easy to get stuck on corners or objects you can't see, or to miss pathways entirely. Plus, there's not a lot of room to explore off the beaten path, with the game frequently locking you out of past areas. While the story benefits from the slow pacing, playing begins to feel dull when the puzzles and environments become increasingly familiar.
Old invoices, outdated documents. Wonder why someone put them out here.
The Niwa Hotel and the surrounding woodlands are the primary locations for Mary Ann's investigation. The real and spirit world variants offer two different looks for the same environments, which makes analyzing them side by side a unique task. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to look at. The rundown hotel begins to lose its foreboding energy as seemingly every wall is covered with ash and decay. There are some surprises in the later portions, but visually, the medium fails to leave a memorable impact. Puzzles periodically halt your progress, but never for too long. Most of the time, Mary Ann needs to alter one reality to bypass obstacles in the other, like pushing something out of the way. You can use her spiritual instincts to highlight important objects, like secret switches that impact both realities, but since it's unlimited, it takes some fun out of discovery and becomes a crutch. Due to the cramped linear spaces, answers are always within reach, and aside from a few clever situations, the limited number of items tends to make each solution a foregone conclusion. There are a handful of combat encounters, but not in the traditional sense. By absorbing wells of spirit energy, Mary Ann can release it as a blast to activate certain equipment or remove barriers, but also as self-defense against hostile dangers. The bubble shield is the most useful, protecting you against swarming insects that guard important paths. Certain parts force Mary Ann into mandatory stealth and chase sections. The slow, stiff movement makes navigating the stealth portions tricky but tense, while the chases are frustrating cases of trial and error. The medium looks fine, but there's a fair amount of texture pop-in, along with intermittent performance hiccups, typically when the camera angle shifts or an item loads. However, the audio is a highlight and does a remarkable job of keeping you unsettled. Distant cries of pain punctuate the somber soundtrack, with the spirit world brought to life by famed composer Akira Yamaoka.
I had never felt anything so desperate. It was calling out to me. It wanted to show me something.
The medium has grand ambitions, but stumbles under the weight of them all. The story is emotionally engaging, but the environments fail to leave a memorable impact. Puzzles are repetitive and typically solve themselves, while slowly moving through the hotel loses its threatening aura. The medium is a great story to watch and listen to, just not to play.
Eventually, I grew into it.
Voices, voices deep inside me keep calling, they're calling. Voices, voices deep within me, they tease me. Why can't I break free?
Looking for more horror games? Check out the latest episode of Huber Syndrome, where we examine the latest reveal of Resident Evil Village and the Maiden demo. All of our videos are made possible by generous viewers just like you. If you like what you see, check out patreon.com/easyallies to help us make more. For just $1 a month, you can gain access to weekly updates, spoiler discussions, and exclusive shows.
Don't go away.